Pokémon FireRed and LeafGreen have recently found their way onto Nintendo Switch, and even with my cold, cynical heart of hate, seeing these games again reminded me of a warmer yesteryear, with LeafGreen being the first video game that I ever owned. And in that childlike wonder of reminiscing playing Pokémon for the first time ever, it truly made me think about how I played these games when I was younger. Level 78 Charizard with Flamethrower, Fly, Fire Blast and Overheat, baby! It's a very universal experience among kids playing Pokemon. You had one Pokemon that you were dumping all your experience into, and it had 4 attacks with as much base power as possible. But what if you couldn't attack anymore? No physical moves, no special moves. Just moves that do no damage. Would you even be able to beat Pokémon FireRed and LeafGreen without using any attacks? Would I have been able to do this as a child? Probably not, I was dumb as shit. But could I nowadays beat Pokémon LeafGreen without any damaging moves? Probably not, I'm still dumb as shit. As you can expect, this run is going to be a lot different than your usual Kanto adventure, as we need to make our choices carefully from the very start if this run was going to end up being successful. But fortunately, in LeafGreen, it's clear as day what our starter is going to be. And while you might be inclined towards the best Kanto starter, it's still a pretty good choice too. As far as I'm aware, this run lives or dies by Bulbasaur. Theoretically, one other Pokemon prior to Brock could be feasible, but Bulbasaur makes it a lot easier at this point onwards. So this is our partner for this run, while our rival picks Charmander. A rival who I might have named something in relation to, something knowing only how to attack, but then some funny real life events happened between the start of the run and it being uploaded, and wow, how weird the name's blurred out in game. That's crazy. Anyway, our mysterious rival is pretty unrelenting, while our Bulbasaur just gets to purr at Charmander for a few turns. Not the most fun seeing my starter get bludgeoned despite its inability to attack. This script would have been so much different if I made this a month ago, but luckily, Bulbasaur being reduced to a small green stain doesn't stop this run from continuing, meaning that we can head to Viridian City, pick up Oak's essential parcel, before being handed Pokeballs by Professor Oak and giving our run the lifeline that it needs. Expectedly, we'd be pretty screwed in most circumstances. Bulbasaur can't use Tackle, nor does Growl have any offensive viability at this point. So with no obvious means to gain experience, we're basically soft-locked. Yet after getting past the sleepy old man blocking off Route 2... Wait, what did he just call me? We can find the first few pieces to this inoffensive puzzle in Viridian Forest, as it's here, in the wild, that we can get our first recruit for the run. Kakuna. Great defenses paired with no way of attacking, I just knew that it would be who we would need for this run to succeed. Then it broke out of all 5 of my Pokeballs. That's all good. Really, I'm not even ideating about anything, as a detour back to Viridian City with my pockets completely emptied means that I can now actually get this run started by finding the way better Cocoon Pokemon, Metapod. Hang on, I think I need to ask Croc how to make a pipe bomb. In the alternate reality where the world doesn't hate me that much, fortunately, this time we can actually catch ourselves a Kakuna and Metapod respectively. Perhaps we would have gotten away with some other bugs instead, but whether it's down to their stats or a matter of pride, these two were hard-earned and completely justified in obtaining, as it's these 3 Pokemon who allow this run to even exist. And this comes down to one single battle by soldiering over to the latter half of Viridian Forest. This trainer facing the trees, otherwise known as Bugcatcher Charlie, is exactly who we need, as he leads with a Metapod. Much like our own Cocoons, it has no attacking moves either. So we start this fight by lowering its offense with Growl from our Bulbasaur. Once we bring it as low as it goes, we can then switch it to any of our other 2 Cocoons and do the most exhilarating gameplay of all time. Seriously, remember that episode from the anime with the fight against the 2 Metapod? It's literally that. However, considering that we have the numbers advantage, this forces Charlie Crack's strategy to Kirk open, forcing his Metapod to use the move Struggle. Just in case you're unfamiliar, if a Pokemon ends up with 0 PP in all of its moves, it's forced to use Struggle as a last resort. Nowadays, Struggle takes away a quarter of the user's HP in recoil, giving the user a maximum of 4 turns to stay alive before it falls. In Generation 3, however, Struggle took a quarter of the damage dealt as recoil. This means that in these games, Struggle is actually a bit of a viable strategy for the user, and it's what beckoned us to recruit 2 Cocoon Pokemon, or in this case, punching bags. They sit there, take the hits, and bravely fall against the opposing Metapod as its health gradually takes a turn. Though it's literally down to the wire, like one more move would have resulted in a defeat, Bulbasaur is able to withstand the onslaught of this level 7 struggling bug, and as such gains a lot of experience for its troubles. Enough, actually, to get it to level 7 itself, immediately giving our starter the life lifeblood of the early game, Leech Seed. This status move is the perfect answer to our dilemma of avoiding physical and special attacks, as if it hits, it saps away health from the opponent while healing us back at the same time. Pair this with any other status moves we eventually get later on, and this run is basically GG at this point. And I know that sounds like I'm overselling it, but it genuinely solves just all of the hurdles for this run at the beginning. And Bulbasaur is somehow able to outmaneuver everything for a little while at least. Seriously, we square up to Brock at level 9, yet the combination of consistently gaining back health while lowering attack with Growl completely walls both Brock's Geodude and Onix for a long, albeit safe first gym badge. I'm sure the rest of this run will be this easy going forward. Wait, hang on, is that a drone strike? Though it seems as if we have all of our business figured out with our draining lead and 2 paperweights cheering us on, in reality, the rest of the game isn't as simple as leaving it to our Bulbasaur. Although, to some extent, it does get better as we move past Pewter City. Shortly following our victory, Bulbasaur is able to learn 2 other fantastic status moves in Poison Powder and Sleep Powder, to further incapacitate enemies with whichever works best. But this encapsulates the problems that we can face. Poison Powder, if anything, just speeds up how long these battles would otherwise take, but not all Pokemon can be poisoned, whether it be due to being immune to poison, having an ability to protect them from poison, or flat out being poison type themselves. Also, for as useful as Growl is at the beginning against physical attackers, a whole other world of offense is around the corner, so we have to get our team as reinforced as possible to take down any and all threats. Thankfully, this conveniently pairs up nicely with the upcoming Mount Moon, often a place where you can pick out a rare Pokemon or 2 if you so desire. But for this run, we need almost every guy found here to help us. Geodude, for starters, is absolutely vital in this run. As a rock ground type, it might disintegrate if you sneeze on it, but given its excellent physical resistances, it can be life or death later against certain opponents. You can also consider Paras as part of this too, not as necessary as Geodude per se, yet more access to status conditions gives us more depth for a problem later on. And finally, Zubat, while in most instances is just incredibly annoying and useless, is unironically as important an encounter as Bulbasaur in this run. I wish I was joking. The rest of our time through Mount Moon is nothing special, admittedly, although once we beat the scientist guarding us from the exit, it conveniently is at the point where our starter can evolve into an even more bulky lightning rod, which is very helpful going forward. Because at Cerulean City, this is where the biggest threat that you will see, arguably in this entire run, is here to stop us. Is it the gym leader Misty? No, of course not. This wench only has water types, so there's no chance that we'd lose to her. Hey, future me, make sure to edit out the part where we lost to her. Is it our rival with a name I can't quite remember? Fortunately, right now, no. Although their team will become much more capable in the near future, the benefit to us is that we have quite the numbers advantage. Still, with special attackers like Charmander and Abra in his roster, I'm a little scared for our later prospects. Nonetheless, in reality, our biggest threat is readying up, and truthfully, who that threat is might already be coming to your mind right now. Women. There is no greater fear for us at the present moment than Nugget Bridge Trainer number 2, because Lass Ali and her 3 Pokemon are a major stopgap. I know what you're thinking. I'm talking to you right now. Wow, this guy is so cool and awesome. I'm sure he intimidates females everywhere, and I should like and subscribe because he'll surely win easily. And while I don't know about that first part, but the thing about Lass Ali is that she carries a Pokemon that annihilates what my Ivysaur is able to do. Oddish. As it's also a grass poison type, this means that it is completely immune to the tools at our current disposal. They can't be poisoned due to their typing, and every grass type is immune to the effects of Leech Seed. I'm sure we could maybe do a strategy with our good old buggy pinatas, but I don't want to go back to that. So, viewer, here is the strategy that is required to beat an Oddish without attacking it in FireRed and LeafGreen. Step 1 is to try and incapacitate it with Paras, with fortunately no stun spore, to make us less likely to take absorb attacks while killing its speed. Then, step 2 requires you to make another catch before this fight. In this case, it's the rodent Rattata, who is best served to assist us as it's one of the most effective ways to lower the enemy's defense with Tail Whip. Hopefully you can get lucky and fire off a few of these. As that then leads us to step 3, Zubat. Again, the true reason why we can get past this guy. As even though it's effectively a coin flip in accuracy, Zubat happens to know Supersonic. This is the only other damaging status move we have access to, confusing Oddish. In Generation 3, you have a 50% chance to hit yourself when confused, which, when you do, is basically your Pokemon hitting itself with a 40 base power physical move. As such, this considers the Pokemon's physical stats and stat boosts, meaning any defense drops when Oddish hits itself causes significantly more damage to itself than it usually would. The strategy is somewhat reliable, but during this process you have to consider that Oddish can avoid hitting itself or snap out of confusion, or Supersonic can just miss because it's the worst move alive and hates you. So this single Pokemon, as far as time and effort goes, likely stands as the biggest commitment that this run requires at a given point to conquer. And there's also a Bellsprout in the back too, I forgot about that. So after repeating the process against this depressing looking fauna, we mercifully make it past far and away the worst trainer we could come across at this point. I'm just so glad that there's not another trainer with grass types right before we get to Bill's house. Sorry, I don't intimidate you, do I? Because if I do, I just want to let you know that I am not a paedophile. Anyway, 2 dead houseplants later, and after helping Bill get back to his original body, his clothes are off. We're able to blackmail him into giving us a ticket to the SS Anne based in Vermilion City, which is now conveniently open to us after defeating the Rocket Grunt blocking the path to Route 5. But while the city might seem like the goal in mind, it's actually just here on Route 5 where everything changes for us. The daycare man, I can't lie, saves this run. In theory, these battles, at best, last a goddamn eternity, which would make grinding so unbearable to keep up with the level curve of this game. So we can instead leave our Pokemon with this guy and run our heart out for the team, because as we all know, love takes miles. But I say that the guy saves this run in theory, because while I'm certainly playing this game on legitimate hardware, on a legitimate console, on my legitimate TV with my illegitimate child, there's a different way to grind in this game. It's called the Daycare on Wheels. Just to be upfront with people, I'm using rare candies. It's basically the same process as the daycare, but will prevent this run from taking 7 more years and thousands of kilometers traveled. But to be clear, we won't just move marathons or force feed our team to level 100. We can keep this run interesting by keeping the levels capped per gym and not using items in battle, which will make sure that the run stays interesting, as well as allow our team to reliably keep up to snuff. With a better power level on our team, for instance, the fight against Misty is much the same as the one against Brock, albeit her team is admittedly far more capable in its power and offense than his despite the predictable result. Don't get it twisted that this game is going to get easier though. Well, I mean, the fight against Surge absolutely was, given that he can't touch Geodude after we set up Leech Seed, but we did lose on the way to get to him. Our fight against our rival, with a name that is just on the tip of my tongue, is able to hand us another loss thanks to 2 major upgrades to his squad. His newly evolved Charmeleon has a fantastic typing against a majority of our squad at this point, and to make matters even worse, his newly evolved Kadabra is disgusting in this regard too. It didn't go so well for us the first time. I thought I'd be able to retaliate in kind by recruiting the most attractive Pokemon I could think of in the nearby route. Yet in reality, while the allure of Drowsy must have put the rival's mind out of the game, what helped instead was the rival just choosing to go for stupid moves in the rematch. I know your Kadabra can bend spoons, bro. It's not that cool. Wait, no, it is cool! That fight at least served as a reminder that though we've had great answers so far with our current roster, our most frequent opponent in this run will almost always be a constant threat. Albeit not as threatening as a walking succulent. As I already said though, we bested Surge to be 3 badges down, and that meant that we'd covered all of our business before we started heading out to the long path to Celadon City. Although I did end up in a terrible situation against some picnickers' Bellsprout, which went on to the point that it had to struggle itself to death, which totally didn't even piss me off one bit. And that's just a precursor for the main enemy to come. Considering all of the grief that grass poison types have put us through so far, I dreaded to think what Erica would be like with a trio of powerful and painful flora awaiting us. That being said, after getting through a fairly boring push through Rock Tunnel, it's at these points where another pillar of our no attacking run can come into the spotlight when I need them the most. Vulpix. Specifically, a male one too. as this creature might as well be tailor-made to help us in our time of need against Erica. With it knowing Will-O-Wisp, Vulpix is able to inflict a volatile status condition that will stick to all enemy Pokemon permanently, though if we want to, we can also use Confuse Ray, which far supersedes Supersonic given its perfect 100% accuracy. But what can perfect the Fire-type Fox are 2 more moves it's able to learn via TM, both conveniently in Celadon City too. First of all, giving a child some soda at the top of the department store lets you receive the TM for Safeguard. Usually only learnt by Vulpix at level 33, this is a huge move for us to have prior to a gym leader who utilizes statuses like crazy. Even better though, is that in the simple TM store in this game, you're able to buy one of the best moves in this run, bar none. Attract. Typically a move that you rarely see, this status move is akin to confusion, causing infatuation of the target if they're opposite genders. So that means that every turn, an infatuated Pokemon has a 1 in 2 chance to just do nothing. With other statuses, you have a devilish strategy to ruin any trainer's night. Also, by the way, that's why I called Drowsy attractive earlier, because it was able to use Attract on the rivals team. I'm not attracted to Drowsy. Alongside a Firestone for a power boost, Ninetales was now equipped with moves that can burn, confuse, and infatuate Erica's team, complemented by Safeguard to protect the whole squad from status moves. Yep, this clearly is the best and only Pokemon I can really use for this fight. Shit, I forgot Ghastly. So there is a better Pokemon for this fight, and I only realised until just before that we should go to Lavender Town first. We do need to vanquish our rival and Giovanni, but both fights end up being fairly easy given our numbers and options. That grant us 2 quick victories and the ability to see ghosts in the Pokemon Tower, which could allow us to get Ghastly, but the top floor gives us an even greater chance to catch ourselves as the evolution Haunter, though not as crucial to our success as some of the other Pokemon so far have been. I'd argue that Haunter is possibly the best offensive encounter that we can find in this game. That's on full display, with it floating side by side with our majestic Fox for the battle against Erica. What was once a type matchup that our squad feared like nothing else is now something that they can actively toy with. For example, it turns out that when you set up Safeguard, the enemy AI just doesn't see it for some reason. So Erica might be dead set on inflicting us with a status condition, yet that lets our Haunter cause some horror in its debut, as this ghost knows Curse. A pretty painful move on our own end given that it halves our HP, yet it inflicts a quarter of damage to the target at the end of every turn, so it's pretty much worth it when they're a sitting duck. Victory Bell basically just refuses to function properly until it meets its demise. Tangela can be sorted with poison and confusion, and Vileplume might inadvertently see the end of our ghost this battle, yet it still is inflicted with a grave curse to see its life crumble in only a few turns. We were doing fantastic at this point. Nevertheless, we need to keep going strong and improving our squad at every turn if we were going to keep the momentum that we had rolling. And thankfully, I'd been ensuring that we were doing well in the background to cement some of our strongest strategies for the remainder of our adventure. Though I'm not using many more Pokemon than the ones that we've seen so far, I did make sure to catch some extras once we got to Fuchsia City in the Safari Zone. As while they hold no purpose in battle, registering 30 Pokemon in the Pokedex is possibly the best thing that we could do at this point. As with this total documented, one of Professor Oak's aides is kind enough to give out the key item of the item finder that's able to locate anything difficult to find in the overworld. And underneath the 2 Snorlax in this game, you're able to find yourselves leftovers, a held item that keeps the team healthy turn after turn, meaning that we can stall our enemies even easier now. Much like when I played this game as a child, I bet you didn't know that they were here either. Almost as much as I forgot the Lapras. There's just a Lapras set on Route 11 for some reason. At least its dialogue makes a lot more sense nowadays. This acquisition is massive for our team going into Koga, as the win was all but guaranteed with our new setup. Firstly, our newly evolved Venusaur can lead and do as it always does, but then it's simply the Haunter show. Curse cuts our health, yet the combination of it quad-resisting Koga's poison-type moves paired with leftovers and Leech Seed means that we can slowly but surely get back to full health without any concerns whatsoever. Considering how notorious Koga is for being a real piece of work thanks to Toxic, Minimize and Acid Armor on his muck, it feels great cheesing the fight back against him for a marvelous display and a 5th gym badge. Truly, our team has started to take shape rather well, but in reality, our team was not going to cut it. We would need a crown jewel, a centerpiece for the team to focus the efforts around if we were going to prevail. And, well, luckily, there is an answer now that we'd beaten Koga. As with the ability to hit the waves with Surf, we can navigate south of Fuchsia City to the eerily cold world of the Seafoam Islands. Not many Pokemon commonly found here seem like an obvious answer to our concerns, but there is one. One found after solving a puzzle to quell the flowing waters deep in the caverns to find a legendary role for our team. Anyway, after running away from this lame fucking bird, we swim around until we find ourselves a female Slowbro. I'm not joking. Maybe there are some other wolves and Pokemon that come to mind, but Slowbro is far and away the best encounter for this challenge. Firstly, it's a rather bulky Pokemon by nature with a great defensive type combination for the Kanto region. Secondly, it's the only Pokemon that can set up both of its defenses in this game, I believe, meaning that given time, it can just completely protect itself from all threats paired with some tasty leftovers. But thirdly, with Koga's defeat, he bestows us the Toxic TM. Amnesia and Withdrawal for continuous boosted defense, Toxic for gradual erosions of enemy health, and Attract as the cherry on top to incapacitate all male Pokemon totally charmed by the beauty of our Slowbro, and we had our answer for much of the rest of this game. Also, just to be clear, again, I'm not attracted to Drowsy. Our rival, who's trying to become champion to learn of their real name, is exemplary of this. A single Leech Seed from Venusaur is all the extra help Slowbro needs for this fight to be over. We bring it in, set ourselves up, and then wait. It takes a long time, but nothing can puncture our pinky, and a win was as surefire as our rival's name never seeing the light of day. You just won't know about it. Also, after this fight, you get a Lapras free of charge in Silphco. Another beloved Pokemon from the first generation that's kind of beast mode for this run too. It's basically our only way to guarantee a victory thanks to the move Perish Song. In 3 turns, it guarantees all Pokemon on the field when hit by the move will faint. And while this does force the enemy trainer's hands in making a smart move in switching out, it can close out any fight guaranteed, which is what we do against not Sabrina. Neither her nor Blaine can do much to us. And it's after leaving Blaine's gym, Bill, you're out in public, put it away, man. It's after leaving Blaine's gym and squaring straight up to Giovanni for the final fight of this gym challenge that really helps establish the amazing quintet in our team. As expected, Slowbro is who I'm hoping will take us to victory. The chubby Stool Queen that can take out any non-venomous threats standing in her way. But when an opponent who can't be defied by Toxic or Love emerges, we have brilliant backup too. Haunter, for instance, absolutely clowns on some enemy Pokemon. Giovanni's Nidoking and Nidoqueen, for instance, can't hit us with any move except Poison Sting, letting us taunt them on their graves in no time at all. But if all else fails, our day 1 Venusaur can withstand many hits and leech back its health in defiance. Ninetales remains as a fantastic option to burn and confuse the enemy, and once our opponent is cornered, our Lapras can call for mate in 3. It's not as flashy or as clear-cut as 5-year-old me's team makeup, but it is one that feels so satisfying to have in place. However, this run isn't over yet, as, fittingly, the final few fights for this game contain some insanely difficult teams to topple, thanks to incredible power behind a lot of them, as well as counters to our tried and true strategies that we need to at best outsmart or at worst outlast if we were going to become this game's first pacifist champion. But I believed in these 5. I know they have what it takes, and I know that they can do it all by themselves as they stare down Indigo Plateau with the chance to join the Hall of Fame. Well, actually, we also have Graveler here. They're for moral support, really. First up is Lorelei, who in theory shouldn't seem like an obvious obstacle, but she actually has some great answers to a lot of our team, including our lead Slowbro. Dugong can't hit us hard with its damaging moves, yet her status moves are ironically far more precarious for us. Hail basically counteracts our held leftovers to stop us from healing as turns go on, while Safeguard protects Lorelei's team from status moves, leaving us in a standoff once Lorelei heals her team with a full restore. Fortunately, the logic behind her moves aren't that airtight, and we're able to get a window into taking her lead seal down after quite the waiting game. Our Slowbro gets stress tested even further when Lapras hits the field, as a critical hit Surf can bring us low, and we can get frozen by Ice Beam, but we still manage to pull through, as is the case for the rest of her team, who Slowbro manages to hold out against and whittle away one after the other. But as you can see, the Elite Four is far and away a tougher challenge than any set of trainers in this game. Bruno is also here. His lead Onyx knows Roar, which would waste our time boosting Slowbro if we got pushed out of battle, but thankfully Haunter can curse the Rock Snake before switching continuously with our superior Rocking Graveler. And from there, that's GG. Slowbro already tanks physical moves pretty well, and his team is no different. Agatha, meanwhile, is a marked change in this run for us. Though she's considered a ghost-type specialist, it's actually poison that's ubiquitous across her team, and we don't have any clear-cut, easy answers for that. In spite of my trepidation, though, it turns out that when in doubt, Venusaur can square up like it always does. Thanks to the badge boosts in these games, we're able to outspeed her lead Gengar with Leech Seed, signing away its fate while we eventually see its health trickle down to 0 through copious amounts of switching. But Golbat is where the wheels can come off a bit, given that it can hit us with Air Cutter, among other things. Thankfully, Ninetales can emerge as a big lifeline, but at a cost. We're not able to accurately hit Golbat with burns all the time, meaning that we take quite a deal of damage before the big mouth bat is neutered. That is a big enough opening for us to bring back Venusaur for a Leech Seed, but when I tried to get Ninetales some more health back, our luck is starting to run out. We keep on switching between Venusaur and Graveler to eventually see Golbat fall, but Ninetales going down there was pretty horrific given it was our answer for the poison types. And Arbok makes that even more precarious. And Iron Tail both stings and lowers Venusaur's defense, which, when combined with us missing a crucial sleep powder, puts us on the brink after a Sludge Bomb. But at a time when we needed it most, Venusaur locked in. Sleep powder connects, and its synthesis lets it stick around for some more hits. Sadly, we need to sacrifice Graveler in the process, yet its feint wasn't in vain as Venusaur can once again set the stage. Sleep powder, Leech Seed, and switching are the name of the game. It's a bit cheap and a bit tricky, yet it works. The same logic applies to Agatha's Haunter, who might put us to sleep after being Leech Seeded, yet its desires to eat the dreams of our team mean that we can fast track its downfall with a curse from our own Haunter and constantly subbing in and out. This leaves our final Gengar, a Pokemon that does take out our Haunter with Shadow Ball, yet we can sing a Song of Doom with Lapras. Quite the struggle, given it required everyone on the team, but we'd made it through. Fortunately, this leaves Lance last, who doesn't have the natural immunities of Agatha across his team, yet it's still not necessarily a wash. Gyarados, for instance, can be quite comfortably stalled by Venusaur, though a Hyper Beam right before it goes down really sucks. Graveler manages to make its worthwhile against Aerodactyl by tanking all of its ancient powers and being a safe switch for Slowbro to repeat the master strategy, fortunately, but Lance's Dragonair are perfect counters to us. Both of them know Safeguard, and both of them have Shed Skin, which can heal status conditions at the end of every turn. So while we do finish the first through Perseverance, the second sees the first time Slowbro runs out of Toxic PP in a fight this run. So we have to once again pivot right at the end, and it's all thanks to Haunter that we can prevail. It's able to withstand an outrage after a curse on 1 HP, taking down Lance's second Dragon Serpent, before Dragonite comes in and has its fate sealed with Haunter's Destiny Bond, taking it down with us after an outrage. It wasn't a perfect stretch by any means, but we had made it past the Elite Four after everything before us without using a single physical or special attack. And yet, we had one final trainer to consider, who is far and away the hardest fight of this run. Our rival, who I can finally reveal, is named a team with variety, power, and bulk. One where there are no straightforward answers through the whole team. So it would require our 6 to be the best that they can be if they were going to prevail and become champions without as much as a single tackle in this game. Also, before this fight started, for some reason my mic kept peaking. It's been playing up. I'm so sorry. I've tried to fix it. I hope it doesn't annoy you too much. Oh, his name was just Champion all along. Leading with our non-Crown Jewel, because Ninetales can just put us in a really good spot here. Great start. That is a very good start indeed. Okay, that's what it is. How much does this do? Oh, okay. Let's try one more. Nice. Okay, never mind. Right, now we can kind of pivot into a different strategy. No luck on the confusion yet, but we don't even care about that sand attack. Why would we? Oh, dude, really? Little unlucky, but it's what it is. Right, I think you heal this turn. No, never mind. Oh, you might even go down this turn, actually. Okay. Might be the most clutch confusion hit of all time. Never mind, Pidgeot's an absolute bro. Made sure that he didn't use any of his healing items. Okay, yep, that's expected. Thank you. Oh, thank you. Oh, maybe this wasn't the correct play. Possibly could have gone for something else. Okay, never mind. Right, well, Rock Tomb's inbound, so... And then surely you go for Earthquake again. Ooh, okay. think we just go for the sleep powder. That adds a little bit of fuel to the fire. Never mind. Okay, didn't work out. Okay. Good stuff. We get a little bit of health back. Could have just gone for the synthesis there, potentially, but... There we go. Back to full health anyway. Very, very clean start to the fight. That's a bit of a problem. I think Alakazam's the first Pokemon on the team that I really don't have a great answer for. Okay, well, a Psychic's definitely coming, so I think it has to be you. Come on. There we go. Right, this is why we've got Slowbro. It's the crown jewel for a reason. Come on, you take this like nothing. Oh, that does sting. It's all good though. Okay, maybe we try and give ourselves a little bit of breathing room. Amnesia's doing wonders. Attract hits. Hopefully Alakazam can fall for such a sexy beast. It's editing Luca here. This part was boring as hell. I can't lie. Like it was just toxic and stall. And so just consider yourself lucky. But the short story of this is that we badly poisoned Alakazam and it poisons us, not badly poisoned. So we actually last a lot longer and we both go down together, which is so... Oh, dude, that's so sick, isn't it? Can you tell how excited I was while editing this? I'm so tired. What a tragic and beautiful tale for those lovers to die together. Oh, sweet! Venusaur hit level 59! Ooh, shite. I don't know if I have a great answer for you. Oh, wait, no, I think I just have to go with Ninetales here. Okay, nice. Well, I mean, we can't do a whole lot, can we? I guess Confuse Ray? Nice. I didn't know we outsped. Good stuff. Oh, come on, man. Okay. That's fine. Wait, why didn't it... Why would it go for Aerial Ace there? Surely it goes for Fire Blast, no? What? Why aren't you going for Fire Blast? Did Ninetales, like, screw up its AI? I don't really know what to do in this position. Maybe try with Haunter? Nah, bad luck. I feel like we can safely bring in Venusaur. I mean, I know an Aerial Ace is going to sting, but I don't know what's going on with our mysterious rival with a name that no one will ever see, but I think he's broken. I think Flashfire has broken him. Hey everyone, it's editing Luca again. Yeah, I don't know what happened here. I think Charizard had like... It saw Flashfire on Ninetales and then I guess just assumed that the whole team had it. I know this is a thing in Gen 5, but I didn't think it was a thing in Gen 3. Either way, it's just it goes for stupid moves and there's not you're literally seeing everything sped up here. You're welcome. Make sure to don't even everyone unsubscribe actually. Dude, okay, I don't know what to say. I don't know what to say. It's just a rather cool thing to have happened. Because we have just felled the dragon. Well, you definitely want to go for Giga Drain, so... I think we're through a lot of this last little spell, so that's really quite convenient for us. Right, you're probably going to go for Egg Bomb. I guess we bring back in you? Nice. Graveler actually coming in super clutch right at the end. Right, it's Giga Drain number 4. And then this should be Giga Drain number 5. Okay, I might have miscounted. Thankfully, nothing ever goes wrong. Obviously. Come on. Oh, come on. Really, bro? I want you awake for the final leg. Oh my goodness, this is such an irritating affair that I have found myself in due to the circumstances pertaining. Isn't that but a bag of chips? I had it in my head. I had such a lovely little final bit planned. Who cares? Who cares? Well, we made it to the final Pokemon. So, I mean, we could try and burn it, I guess. Okay, yep. Ninetales is just the GOAT. Might just be the GOAT. Oh shit, yeah, I did forget about Hydro Pump, didn't I? Hey, that one was on me. I will admit. But why don't we just sing a... Let's get in the battle, please, man. Let the run mercifully end. You're burnt. You're perished. The dog is having a big old bark off. But we can also confuse it too, if it doesn't confuse itself right now. Nice. And you know what? It's kind of money. I want Graveler to be the one that sees us off in victory. It just needs to not get hit by Hydro Pump. Graveler, I'm so sorry. Well, I was hoping the ending would be a little bit more like a